We're going to move on to the internal rate of return, or IRR. This is a more sophisticated metric, essentially to accompany a cap rate, to give you an estimation of what you'll earn on each dollar invested in a rental property over its holding period. So whereas cap rates only consider income, the IRR formula is much more complex to include things like appreciation and mortgage paydown over time. So this means it's a much more accurate investing metric. But that also means it's more complex to calculate. And because I'm no mathematician, we're not going to get too much into the weeds about the formula. You can see it up on the screen there, but know that there's a lot of online tools out there to help you calculate this. So IRR goes beyond the net operating income and purchase price to estimate your long-term yield. So it's a slightly longer term view than other real estate metrics. So when you calculate the IRR, what you're doing is you're setting the net present value, NPV, of the property to 0, and you use the projected cash flows for each year to plan for each year that you plan on holding the building. So the net present value represents the value of money now versus in the future the money has accrued compound interest. So like I said, it's a very complex formula, but here's an example of an IRR calculation from our friends over at Roofstock. So in this example, you purchase a single family rental for $150,000. You intend to hold onto the property for 5 years. So your cash flow for those 5 years in order are $35,000, $55,000, $47,000, $50,000, and $49,000. Maybe you had some vacancies, some expenses, all that kind of stuff. So this is what your IRR formula will look like. And if you run those numbers through the calculator, you're left with an internal rate of return of 16.5%. So while investors use IRR to compare properties, you should also know its limitations. It assumes a stable rental environment and no unexpected repairs. So the properties you compare using IRR should be similar in size, use, and holding period. So IRR, and I should mention this, that sometimes people refer to it as an annualized return, is really valuable for 3 main reasons. Number one, it provides clarity. It's a single percentage number that incorporates a number of different elements like incoming cash flow, outgoing cash flow, appreciation, loan costs. Number two, it provides you with vision. So for real estate investors who plan on holding properties for the long term, IRR is an ideal measuring stick. So unlike formulas that consider only net operating income and property appreciation, IRR captures total gains over a specific amount of time. And number three, it's timing. So an IRR calculation not only helps select one property over another, it can also help the buyer decide how long to hold on a property for. The IRR might indicate more returns over a longer period of time. And note that it's most relevant when it comes to selling, because it assumes you sold the property in that specific year to get that IRR number. So again, a complex metric, but the good news is that Google Sheets and Excel both have built-in IRR calculators that do all the heavy lifting for you. And there are tons of calculators out there that you can find with a simple Google search.